Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new DC Collectibles 6-inch scale Batman the Animated Series Mask of the Phantasm 2-pack. Now this set contains figures of Batman and the character Phantasm from the movie, the Batman the Animated Series movie, Mask of the Phantasm. The figures come packaged in a window box packaging where the figures are clearly displayed. You've got the name of the characters off to the side. With this, the box is black and a darkish kind of gray, and you've got the Mask of the Phantasm Batman logo down below. Off to the side, it tells us that this is, I guess this set is figure 22 in the series, the Batman the Animated Series line. So I guess both figures are considered number 22. And then off on the very side, it tells us that the figures were sculpted by Irene Matar. On the back of the packaging, we have a look at the Phantasm character. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside of the packaging. Now, the figures come with a number of accessories. Both come with figure stands, very similar to the other figure stands we've seen in the animated series line. So you've got the white bases with the turnaround images. You have one for Batman, and then you have one for Phantasm. And then both stands have the clamp arm that just goes up and down. It doesn't extend outward at all. Both figures also come with extra pair of hands. Batman has two closed-fisted hands and then a pair of hands for holding his batarang. Phantasm comes with two hands, but they're both for the left hand, not the right hand. The right hand has that axe weapon on it, and it doesn't come with an interchangeable hand. So you just get two left hands. You've got a closed-fisted hand well, I should say you get three left hands. You got the closed-fisted hand that comes attached to the figure. Then you have an open hand, and then you have a grip hand to hold something, even though the figure doesn't come with any other accessory. Batman also comes with a batarang, which is just black. Okay, so for the figures themselves, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the Batman figure. This Batman figure is almost identical to the Batman figure we got on the single card, the animated series Batman figure. There is a little bit of difference between the face sculpts on these two, most notably with the facial expression. He has a little bit, his smile on this Phantasm box set one is a little more open. His lips seem a little more closed on the single carded version. The eyes are a little bigger on the Phantasm version as well. But otherwise, they're about the same. There's very little difference between these two figures. The capes are shaped the same. The bat symbols are pretty much shaped the same. So again, there's very little difference between these two figures. Okay, so for the Phantasm figure, I think this is a pretty cool figure. I like it a lot. Now, this character appeared in the first Batman the Animated Series movie. This was actually, if I recall correctly, was a movie that first debuted in movie theaters. I remember going to the movie theater to see this. And so, this is a pretty long time ago. I forget what year the movie came out, but basically in the movie, this character, I won't reveal, in case you haven't seen the movie, I won't reveal who the character is. It was kind of a spoiler for the movie, but I will say it was somebody kind of close to Batman. So the figure itself, though, is pretty true to what we saw in that movie. You've got this the cape and the hood are all one piece, and it's just that kind of soft vinyl material like we see, and it's done in a gray color. The hood of the figure you can actually pull back. Now the mask is not removable or anything, but the hood, if you wanted to, you could pull back. The hood's not removable. You can't take this off. It's glued to the figure, but if you wanted to pull the hood back, you can. The figure has, for his right hand, as I mentioned before, has this axe hand that was basically the character's weapon. And it's kind of a sharp, plastic. It's hard plastic. So it's got some nice detailing to it. You've got the big blade on the one side and the smaller blade on the other. And then the rest of the figure is basically just black, and you've got the gray boots. Nice detailing on the mask. You've got, that kind of almost skull-like mask that the character had, which is black and gray, and then you've got the white eyes. Okay, so this figure stands at, if you count to the tip of their hood, about 6 1/4 inches tall. They're pretty much the same height as Batman, again, if you count to the tip of their hood, which, if I recall correctly, the two characters were about the same height in the movie. Now, if you pull the hood back, then the character is shorter, which again makes sense if you know who the actual character is. And it's kind of funny. I was just sitting here kind of thinking, and this character is called Phantasm, and I'm thinking about Star Wars and Captain Phasm, and it's like those two names are very similar. And if you know who this character is and you know about Phasm, it's kind of weird how they both have very similar names. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so articulation on this figure is pretty much on par with what we've seen with the other figures in the line. The head is on a ball joint. Now, if you want to turn the head, you kind of have to pull that hood back because the hood does not turn. But you can turn the head left and right. And it's got not a whole lot of... Actually, I take that back. It does actually have pretty good up movement. He can look up pretty good. And he can look down a little bit. And then you can kind of pivot the head to the left and the right. But again, you want to pull that hood back if you want to move the head around because the hood itself does not move. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joints. You can get the arms out good even with the cape. The cape does limit a little bit how much of rotation you have with the arm, so you can't, you don't really want to probably do the arm all the way around because you kind of bend that. You can kind of lift the cape up and over the arm if you really wanted to, but it does limit some of the movement there. Single hinged elbow and has the swivel at the elbow. So he can bend his elbow about that much, and then as I said, he's got the swivel. Also has a swivel at the glove cuff and a swivel at the wrist. Hinges on the hand, so you've got good up and down movement with the hands. You've got a midsection joint, so you've got swivel there, and then you've got those side hinges for the legs, so it can do the splits good. Can get the leg forward about that much, and can do the leg back good. Doesn't have a thigh swivel. Single hinged knee, so it can bend the knee about that much. Does not have swivel at the knee. Has swivel at the boot cuff, and then has hinges on the feet, so you've got good up and down movement, but no ankle pivot. And one peg hole on the bottom of its foot. And just real quick, Batman, same articulation as the single card figure. Can look left, can look right, has pretty good up and down movement. Can get the arms out about that much. Has good rotation at the arm. Has the single hinged elbow, can bend his elbow about that much. Has the swivel at the elbow. Has the swivel at the wrist. Hinges on the hand, so up and down movement. Has swivel at the waist. Those side hinges for the legs, so can do the splits, can get the leg forward, can do the leg back, no thigh swivel, single hinged knee, and then has up and down movement and ankle pivot. And this one has actually no peg holes on the bottom of its feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, both figures are really nice. I like the Phantasm figure. I like the sculpting detail. I like the look of the character, and I think they captured the likeness well. The Batman figure is definitely a good figure as well. Now, the only thing about the Batman figure is if you already have the single-carded version of this figure, then there's not enough of a difference between this one and that single-carded one that I would say it's really worth, getting a second figure. So, this set costs about $45. That's what it should cost at your comic and specialty shop. If you don't already have the Batman figure and you're essentially getting two new figures, then this is definitely a nice set and you're getting your money's worth with it, I would say. If you already have the Batman figure on the single card, then unfortunately you're basically, for the most part, buying a duplicate figure. At that point, it's really how much of a fan of the Phantasm character you really are. If you're a big fan of that character in that movie, then I think you'll probably still want to pick this one up. If not, then it may be one you want to hold off on. So this is hitting comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.